I've come here today to lick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of bubble gum.
So we're here today with Sicklands Productions, Phillip and Johnny Harrison. So, how did you guys get started? I mean, like, did you meet, or what made you think about doing this? Just tell a little bit about yourselves.
You taking this one?
Yeah, I'll start us off, and then you can kind of jump in. It's kind of funny because I've always been a horror movie fan, movie fanatic. Just an overall movie fan, but just kind of the horror genre did something to me at an early age. The first time I saw The Shining, I guess, really did it for me. And then it kind of evolved into the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens, the Nightmare on Elm Streets. And then it just really dropped off. I guess when I became a teenager, late in my teens, they stopped really making true horror movies. So I'd always wanted to make the movies that I saw as a kid and what I wanted to see. The problem with that was even though I was creative, I couldn't. Technically I don't have what it takes, and so when I met my wife Karen, we had been married for several years, and just a family reunion by chance. She was like, "Oh, you should meet my cousin Johnny. I don't know why you guys have not met before." And then one thing kind of led to another, so we started to do our 10-minute short film, Children of the Dead, just to see if we even could do anything, see if we even had any chemistry to work together. And we shot the 10-minute short in about 7 hours, and it came together pretty good. We're pretty proud of it, and that's kind of how we got started.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. I guess if we're going back that far, I had a similar childhood experience. I loved horror as well. I always did. All things, kind of to the darker side, musically and movies. And then, like Phillip said, when we met, it was just we're kindred souls, so we just kind of took up with one another and took off from there. It's not really been a process of even talking about it. We just kind of we almost like we're brothers that didn't meet for years.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That's the cool thing about it, is that my ideas and his ideas are generally the same. We basically have the same vision. We have the same. I mean, sometimes I'll be like, "Dude, I got to tell you about the scene I just wrote," and he finishes what I'm saying before I even get to it, because we're pretty much in sync about it. And then that kind of led into stepping it up a notch with Blood Ward. We wanted to take it to more of a feature film, which was more naturally more of a challenge because it was more time consuming all the way around. More actors, getting locations, doing everything. So we found out the hard way, the legal way, as far as certain sets and locations. But it was a good learning experience. It was a really first true effort, and we went through some hardships with Blood Ward, cast, locations, marketing, just trying to get people to jump on board with it. But all the local media, when they see horror, they run away. So, but we just basically still have the same mindset, same idea. We have the same vision, and we're taking the next step further with Retribution, which is going to be pretty killer.
And Blood War was actually, it was my lifelong dream, I guess, to be a special effects artist, a la Tom Savini. I loved, as a kid. So I never got the chance to ever do anything on any type of film. So actually getting to bash his head in on screen was like a dream come true for me. And it came out real well, I thought, for the whole movie did. Everything about what we ended up with, knowing what we went through to get there, and, the amount of help that people brought on board and voluntarily gave us and support and all that was just, we're a year into this. This is just barely over a year that we're even into really knowing each other well. And we've already got all this under our belt, and that in itself makes me very proud. So.
And like you said, just some of the things that we've done. Having that being said, what I said about local media, we've still had some local media that's really jumped on board with us and done some great newspaper articles. Having people like Jim O'Rear want to be involved with us, Mighty Sideshow, local band, lending us some music. The mayor's office, here in Chattanooga, really stepping in these last two films, Bloodward and then this next one, Retribution, that we're working on, securing us locations. Hey, what do you guys need? I could basically tell them what we need. They call me back within 2 days. Like, you got it. I mean, not one time have they said no to anything. So it's really
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
To me, it is.
Yeah, considering that we.
And I have to give you props for that on screen. So everybody, I've done it many times, but like, that's your magic. I mean, that's what you're really good at, is securing talent, locations. Beyond the writing and directing, but just the charisma to get to open doors that that I don't know that anybody else gets open for them.
Well, it seems to me that you guys work well together. I mean, one couldn't work without the other.
Well, sure.
And things like
Yeah,
that.
That's what I was about to say. That kind of tied it in at the beginning. I mean, there's certain things that I know that are my areas. The script, the writing. Yes, I want input. Yes, I want final input on everything before it goes to print. But the script is my baby. The casting, the locations. I always get input and everything, but I know that that's what I excel at.
Yeah.
But that being said, I've talked to several people over the past several months who have a real difficulty handing over their product to a producer when they get it finished, to an editor. But like I said, we have the same vision, we have the same goals for each of our projects. So, I'm undergoing a lot when I'm writing it, when I'm looking for talent, when we're auditioning, when we're getting locations. But I do breathe that sigh of relief when I finish the script and we shoot the movie and then I give it to you, because then it's like, okay, I'm out. This is your time to do your magic, put everything you two together with the music, the effects, the editing, the producing, the website. I mean, that's all you. So we really do have an awesome combination of teamwork, because
really
our films wouldn't be. I bring my element, you bring your element when it comes together. Like you said, in a year's time, and we're working on our third, even though the others have been, a 10-minute short and then a 47-minute film. But in a year's time, to do what we've done, pretty incredible.
And we're having a blast. I mean, that's really, for me, that's what it's about. It's what has been about since the first time that I drove up, and you invited me to be a part of the short. Like, the thrill of getting to do it. That's been the thrust of it all, and then when you watch it, when we talk through it all and what we hope it's going to be, and then, when Bloodward, which is our first series project, when it was finished, and we saw it the first time in a group of people, and any reaction to me is great, but when we had laughter, and we had somebody, that, at any given point, I mean, to me, that made it all. That was what it was really about for me.
And
I mean, feeling like you created an emotion or a stirring in somebody else with something that you've created. That's that's what it's about.
Yeah, one thing that I like to do at each thing that we premiere is I always walk to the back of the audience, because I want to look at everybody. I want to see their reaction. I want to see if they're getting bored. I want to see whatever. And the one scene where I get killed is, we had 173 people at the premiere, which was pretty awesome considering we're nobodies in a small market like Chattanooga. But 173 people just in unison. I literally jumped probably 5 feet off the ground, because that made me, it just solidified that we're doing what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
We're taking it in the right steps. We're learning as we go. It's a slow process. We're taking it step by step, but we also have great support. I mean, from friends, from people lending us everything, to our wonderful spouses.
Yeah, I mean, really,
You know?
you can't overthink people enough for that. I mean, what we're doing, not having, any kind of a really serious budget at this point, no amount of want to probably would make it happen without that, without the support of the people that believe in us and show up and turn out and really put their heart into it, because either they believe in the project or they believe in us, and I'm thankful for all that.
Yeah.
The chance to get to try it.
And Retribution is going to be, if we can go on into that, Retribution actually was almost
which is the next
film
project.
It was almost an accident, really. We, again, are new at all this, so we decided to, one day we went up to State Park to film outside, film different things, look at what we could do, and I guess just being the weirdo that I am, I had a hatchet in the back of my truck for some reason, don't ask.
Don't.
And Johnny was like, hey, you come at me from behind that tree over there. It's like, oh, sure, okay.
Yeah, because this is normal behavior.
Yeah, exactly. So here I come with it, and it was just like,
hey, an axe, chase me.
So what we were going to use it as was a 10, 15, 20-minute short about just your typical 80s horror slasher, cabin, woods, all that stuff. But it was basically just going to be an experiment just to get a little bit better. But I couldn't stop. The script kept getting longer and longer, and more people wanted to be involved, and the ideas kept coming. So it's changed. It's kind of evolved from being just your typical 80s horror slasher film to a horror film with a little bit of a story to it, a little bit of a message to it. Not trying to give too much away about it, and the more people wanted to get involved, then we knew the bigger we had to make it. Again, with Jim O'Rear wanting to be involved again, with just several local actors, musicians, emails from actors and actresses from pretty much all over the Southeast, wanting to be a part of it, has just really blown my mind, because it's like, I write this, on my little notebook, either at my house or, doctor's office, work, wherever. Whenever an idea hits me, I write it, and I've got all these people that are wanting to be a part of it. Really has, done something to me. It's just inspired me to make it the best that it can possibly be. And
it's again already, I mean, like, the outpouring of support. I mean, people have already volunteered, more location wise, and even, hopefully, I don't want to say anything to give anything away, but like prop wise, maybe, I guess would be a way to things that, there's just no way to budget for. I mean, that are just being handed into our lap that, kind of makes you wonder, if maybe we are on the right track, maybe we are doing something right.
Yeah. Well, there's still that that thirst that people have for horror films that nobody gives them these days.
Yeah.
All your horror films are, psychological or thriller or paranormal, things like that. You don't have your true horror films that we grew up wanting to see and liking. And who cares if it doesn't make a lot of sense, and who cares if it's not the best storyline. And I don't know too many horror films that have won Oscars or anything. You don't get that.
Well, let me ask a question. Since you've already made these other two movies, how are you planning on getting them out for others to see? I mean, for someone to be interested in it, to pick it up, to show it other places. I mean, besides the premiere that you had in Chattanooga,
Well, hopefully.
I mean, you put it on YouTube, or are you gonna?
Well, we're going to. If the movie turns out, which I feel like it will, if it turns out, at the level that we're hoping, then we have a website set up that will hopefully be able to to allow. We don't have the budget for streaming, but we'll have an availability to download it for as cheap as we can possibly make it, just so people can get to see our product and hopefully help fund future products. Nothing expensive, but something that would help us to do future endeavors, and also to allow people to experience it that maybe can't get out and come to one of the cons or some events that we're having where they could view it otherwise.
So this next movie, Retribution, is it going to be a longer feature film?
Absolutely,
45 minutes?
Yeah, it's going to be. The script is already. We're still in the stages of writing the script. We're still in the, trying to get everything together, and it's probably 85 to 90% complete, and it's already almost twice as long as what the Bloodward script was. So,
And
yeah,
Bloodward
I
was
don't want to.
46 minutes.
Bloodward was 46 minutes, and I don't want to even guess right now at how long this film could be, but I honestly see a full-length feature film coming out of this. But I've always said, the one thing that I've always said is I would rather give you 45 minutes of punch than an hour and a half of crap. Anybody can make an hour and a half movie where you have 30 minutes of the movie that doesn't make any sense. And it's just kind of irrelevant. Not that it's necessarily bad, but you could live without. And that's when your audience gets up, when you're in the theater and you look to the left or you look to your right and you see somebody get up and go to the concession stand, that means your movie's not doing too good at that point.
Right.
I don't want that. I would rather have a movie 45 minutes to 50 minutes or so of just intense punch than dragging it out just for the sake of time, making it longer. I don't want that.
I agree with that.
But what you had said about making it as cheap as possible. One thing I've told a lot of people is, we don't want your money, we want your attention. We want to make a noise over here.
Nice.
Yeah. I've told that to a lot of people. We want to make a noise over here to where if you're watching everything over here, we make a noise and you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Let's go over
Phillip
here.
Heatherton, 2012.
Yeah, nobody can take that. That's mine. But naturally, sure. Who gets in a business like this, whether it be movies, acting, in front of a camera, behind the camera, music, whatever, and doesn't want to make money? You'd be an idiot to do all this to not want to make something, but...
Well, it takes money to do it.
Sure.
We can't, nobody does anything like this.
But after working,
free,
all of our adult lives at quote-unquote real jobs,
right.
We understand and we appreciate a little bit more, I think, than some people that just get instant success.
Sure.
So, and we're already getting to the point to where it's still kind of unreal for us, getting to the point to where we have, people that are, I guess, maybe even newer than we are, coming to us, hey, what kind of advice can you give us? Can we come and help you? Can we be hands? Can we do, what can we do? And it's almost like, we're learning as we go, and you're coming to us,
Hey man, could you give me some advice? I'm like, we're a year in. Sure.
Yeah.
I got some advice. But, we have learned a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we do, whether we're quick studies or whether we're just getting hammered with it, we've learned a lot in a year.
Yeah.
So we do actually have some pretty good advice. Our whole approach, this is independent film. So basically the whole approach with this is no different than the average person going to the grocery store. You've got to make the most out of your budget. So everything that we use, whether it's the tools or the sets or everything, is always about the most for your money. Very few things that we have are on the cutting edge. We have to make do with some substandard stuff. But some of that adds a bit of, in at least for me, it adds a little bit of a challenge to it.
Yeah.
It's not so easy. We don't have, a budget to buffer us to where, that would be nice, no doubt. I'm sure it is, but I guess what I'm saying is it's a little bit of a challenge to pull off an idea when you have to do it more or less the hard way. So being able to take and make the most out of a given situation or product that you're using is...
But I like the fact that, in a couple of the death scenes in Bloodward, we pretty much did it on our own. There was not much digital enhancing.
Yeah, there was
to
none. There was no CGI, and actually,
no green screens.
none of that.
What you see is what you get. With
It's
us,
old school.
And is it perfect? No, but
and it's not even that we're against it. I mean, I've seen plenty of things, but like, we grew up loving a certain type of horror movie, right? So then, to me, to really recreate it, you have to go back and do it the way they did it,
Yeah.
And when at all possible, that's what we're going to do. There may come a time when we use, a computer special effect or something like that, but we're going to avoid it like the plague until we have to.
We're basically trying to bring 80s horror that we grew up in into 2012.
Right.
And give people what they want to see, what they've been missing.
Yeah.
And, like you said, have a blast doing it.
That's the main thing. Have fun. I mean, you're going to ask something?
No.
I mean, the whole thing about it is the worst case scenario, and we've said this, off camera many times. Worst case scenario, we've gotten closer as friends and family. We've gotten closer to people and made friends that we never probably would have known otherwise. Made connections in our community and talked to people and became appreciative of things that we otherwise might not have. And at the end of the ride, if we step off of it and we're left with that, it's a win.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
well, let's end it with that. We thank you so much for y'all being here today. And folks, remember this name, Sick Lens Productions. We hope to hear it in the future and wish you guys the best of luck. So thank you for being here today, and good luck to you both.
And we don't want your money, we want your attention.
Copyright Phillip in 2012.
Cut.